and girls, and welcome to your online class of biology. Students, this is your 5th class of biology, and in today's class we are going to discuss or start the second step in human nutrition, that is digestion. We have already completed the first step, that is ingestion, in your last class, and today we are going to start the digestion process. Digestion is breaking of food and extraction of nutrients. So in digestion process, the food which is pasted or which is already in a softer version after the ingestion process is broken down into simple form, and the nutrients present in the food is extracted. So let's first see where the digestion process starts. The digestion process actually partially starts in the mouth itself, and that is done by the saliva. The saliva, as I said, is secreted by the salivary glands. There are three major pairs of salivary glands which are found in human beings: parotid, submaxillary or submandibular, and sublingual. The parotid gland is the largest among these three. So these are the three pairs of salivary glands which are found in the human beings, and these three pairs secrete or release maximum amount of saliva in our mouth. So this saliva which is secreted by the salivary glands contain an enzyme which is known as salivary amylase. Here you must know that enzymes are the chemicals which are required for extracting the nutrients present in our food, and every nutrient, we know that the nutrients are basically carbohydrate, protein and fats, and every nutrient have their own particular enzymes which break them and extract them from the food. So as I said that salivary amylase is the enzyme which is secreted by the salivary glands and is found in the saliva. This salivary amylase is also known by another name which is known as ptyalin. So these salivary amylase actually dissolves the starch present in the food and convert it into maltose and isomaltose. So when the food is paste, or you can say masticated in the mouth, the process of digestion partially starts over there, and the saliva which contains the salivary amylase starts looking for the starch present in the food and then convert the starch into maltose and isomaltose. When the food is swallowed after ingestion, that is when the food is passed from the mouth to the food pipe, at that time the food is known as bolus. So when the food, or you can say the bolus, is present in the food pipe where the salivary glands are located, the maximum amount of starch digestion takes place there. So if you are having any food which is containing starch in it, the salivary amylase present over there will convert that starch into maltose and isomaltose. Now after the food pipe, the food or the bolus next enters the stomach. In stomach, we find the only acid present in our body which is known as the gastric acid. This gastric acid actually is very concentrated hydrochloric acid which is found in our stomach. The function of the hydrochloric acid is to kill the bacteria present in our food. But the main function of this acid is to lower the pH of the bolus. That is, it lowers the pH of the bolus to 1, 2, 3. So when the acid gets mixed with this bolus, it converts the bolus and it regulates the pH to 1, 2, 3. Now the question is, why the bolus is required to have a pH of 1, 2, 3? That is why the bolus needs to be acidic, because the pepsin enzyme which is found in the stomach is present in an inactive form which is known as pepsinogen. So pepsinogen is the inactive form of pepsin enzyme which is found in the stomach, and this pepsinogen converts into pepsin only in an acidic medium. So you can say to activate pepsin, HCl lowers the pH of the bolus. Once the pH is lowered, the pepsinogen gets converted into pepsin. Next, this pepsin finds the protein nutrient present in the food and converts it into peptones. Earlier we have seen that salivary amylase or ptyalin converts the starch into maltose. Similarly, the pepsin, in presence of pepsin, the protein nutrient, the protein present in the food or present in the bolus is converted into peptones. Okay. Now, after the digestion process in the stomach, the bolus then next goes out of the stomach and enters the third place, which is the small intestine. But the bolus which comes out of the stomach, which is acidic in nature due to the mixing of HCl, is now known as chyme. Chyme or chyme. Now this chyme enters the small intestine. Now the small intestine mainly has three regions. The first region is known as the duodenum, second is known as the jejunum, and third is known as the ileum. Now in the first region, that is the duodenum region, the small intestine receive juices, or you can say receive chyme and juices from three different places. The first is liver. In the small intestine, in the duodenum region, the liver passes bile juice. From stomach, it receives the chyme, that is the main food supply. And third, from the pancreas, the small intestine receives the pancreatic juice. Now let's see what are the function of these three things. Chyme is the main food from where we are going to extract the nutrient, which comes from the stomach after the digestion process. Now the liver, it produces bile juice. This bile juice is temporarily stored in the gallbladder and then passed to the small intestine. The main function of the bile juice is to change the nature of the chyme. That is, the chyme which was acidic till now must be made alkaline. That is, the pH should be raised so that it does not destroy the small intestine. The acidic nature of the chyme may destroy the small intestine. That's why the main function of bile juice is to alkalinate the chyme. Second, it emulsifies the fat. The fat which is present in the chyme or present in the food is emulsified or broken into fatty acids by this bile juice. So, bile juice have mainly two functions: to alkylate the chyme and to emulsify the fats. Next is the pancreatic juice. The pancreatic juice contains three enzymes. P here stands for pancreas or pancreatic. The first enzyme is pancreatic lipase, second is pancreatic amylase, and third is trypsin. Now in the duodenum region, the fats which are present in the food, which are not emulsified by the bile juice, are then converted to fatty acids by this pancreatic lipase. So remember, lipase is the enzyme which converts the fats to fatty acids. The second is pancreatic amylase. As we have already seen that salivary amylase. So amylase is basically an enzyme which converts the starch into maltose. So if any starch is still left after the digestion in the food pipe region by the salivary amylase, those starch, or you can say those leftover starch, are then converted to maltose by this amylase. Then finally we have the trypsin. Pepsin, trypsin. Here you can see pepsin, trypsin. So sin, this is the common thing. Okay. So always remember the enzymes which have sin, sin in the end of their name. Those enzymes act upon the protein. So if any protein is left after the digestion process in stomach, that protein is converted to peptones by the trypsin. Okay. So in this way, the nutrients which were present in the food is converted to the intermediate products, and then they are finally converted to their final products in the middle region of the small intestine, which we will study in our next class. So this was all about the digestion process, though the digestion process still here is not complete. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.